Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Johnny signing in again from Johannesburg, South Africa. I want to tell you about the power of LifeWays X39. It reactivates your own stem cells in your body, and you get up to 4,000 new genes in your body, which fights any disease and issues in your body. So it's a non-invasive patch. It looks like this, and you stick it on parts of your body. And when it's a part of your body, it reactivates your copper peptide in your brain, which reactivates your stem cells in your body. So it's not like big pharma's here. Stem cell injection that costs you over 25,000 US dollars, and you can only get it in certain countries, and your body can reject it. There's only a 50% uh, working rate of the injection. This medical patch, my own point of view, this activates your own stem cells in your body and creates new genes. I put out a testimonial every week of an issue or a disease of what people are struggling with out there in the world. We hold over 200 worldwide patent rights on this medical patch. Remember, it's my point of view, my own point of view. And you can only get it from one of the brand partners at LifeWays. We sell directly to the people that need it. We don't market it in big business where everybody has to put a markup up, and then it'll be out of the reach of the people that really need it. So that's what we do. So today I want to welcome you to the Lifeway family. And remember, it's the only technology of its kind in the world today. So my testimonial of the week would be right up here, week number, and then in red you'll get the testimonial of the week. Your first video will give you testimonials from people that are on this medical patch and what it's done for them and how it's helped them. And then the video thereafter would be a full presentation of how to wear this product and what you can get out of it, the benefits you can get out of it, and all that type of thing. And then on the last video, you'll find my contact details. So if you have a disease that you would like to see testimonials on that specific disease, or like high blood pressure or sugar diabetes, I will send you testimonials from all over the world with people that are on the medical, my own point of view, the patch, and then you can see for yourself what it's done for those people. So on the last video, you'll find QR codes from YouTube, from Rumble, and from BitChute. That is the long videos that will tell you all about it, and you can see the testimonials and how the presentation of how this works. And then if you're one of the people that struggle with data and that, you can follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X, and you'll find a QR code of my WhatsApp channel. And next to that, there's a QR code taking you direct to my email address. And on the other side of the page, you'll find Telegram. So if you want to use Telegram, you can scan that and go into my Telegram account. Guys, if you go into BitChute, we've got hundreds of followers, but no subscribers. Very few subscribers. Guys, please subscribe so that we can get to millions more people out there. My Rumble account, it's exactly the same. We got viewers, but no subscribers. Please subscribe there. Or on my YouTube channel. I got a few subscribers, but I had hundreds more, thousands more. YouTube took it down and I lost all those subscribers. So please subscribe there again, and there's there you can drop me a cup of coffee or something to help me keep all this work up on all those channels. And please follow me on the smaller channels such as Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, and X. Follow me there, and so we can get to millions of more people that need this medical patch. Oops, my own point of view. This patch, you just stick it on a part of your body. It's a non-invasive patch, so nothing's going into your bloodstream. So if you're on tablets, you can still wear this. This is just activating your body to work, not in your bloodstreams and going in all over like big pharma's Smarties, and they give you a tablet for this and a tablet is something else in your body. So this is a non-invasive patch. So guys, thank you for being here, and you'll see me again next week for the next one, and we'll take it from there. Remember, the testimonial of the week is up, yeah? It's in red, and the week number. So thank you for being here, and hope to see you on the last page, and we'll take it from there. Thank you, and enjoy the week and enjoy the weekend. See you next week.
So I just thought I'd make a small video clip sharing my story from having the most idyllic, beautiful life to getting shot in a home invasion, and my utter 5 years and 24 days of hell, pain and discomfort, my subsequent attempt to get my life back onto track, and eventually my triumph, which came last week Saturday at a patch party in Bryanston. So I made a little collage and I'll post it on the group just to give you a picturesque of what my life was and what my life became. So for 20 years I was a rock climber, climbing absolutely everything in the Western Cape, Cape Town, Gordons Bay, Tulbagh, Ceres, De Toys Kloof, Bunhoek, Jonkershoek, and many other places where there was good quality rock. And near the end of April 2019, I woke up on a Sunday morning and I had 3 invaders in my house and I got shot. The bullet entered my groin and came out just under my bum, severing my sciatic nerve. When I came out of theatre in the hospital, the doctor came to my bedside and he wanted to break the bad news to me, telling me that I wouldn't walk again without AIDS, and suggested I get myself a wheelchair, a wheelie walker, and some walking sticks, as well as getting something made for my left leg for stability, an artificial foot orthotic. And it absolutely broke me. The joy of surviving was crushed, knowing that I would never ever climb a rock face again, and I would probably never ever even enjoy a hike in a mountain. And he explained to me that with the damage to the sciatic nerve, which was totally severed, that I was partially paralyzed from the exit wound down to the knee, and I was totally paralyzed from the knee down to the left foot. The condition is called plantar fasciitis, and in layman's terms, it's drop foot. And any attempt that I made to walk without the aforementioned aids, I would simply trip over my toe and fall flat on my face. Aside from the damage to my left leg, he told me that the MRI scan had showed herniated discs between L5 and S1 and would probably require further surgery. And my whole world came crumbling down. Within a week of leaving hospital, I had to pack up my life in Cape Town and relocate to my mom in Johannesburg, where I could get 24 hours attention. I lost my life, I lost my income, I lost my business, and I lost my house. And life was hell. The pain in my leg was absolutely indescribable and was off the charts. I had this burning sensation, something like 1,000 shock volts in my foot, 24 hours a day. It was like pins and needles on a level that I can't describe. And it felt like the feeling of numbness, and it was terrible. And I lay in bed for 15 months. I was bedridden. The only movement I made was from my bedroom to my mum's lounge, where we had prepared myself a bed on the floor. I couldn't even sit on a chair because of my spinal injury, and I couldn't even lie comfortably in front of the TV set because of my left leg pain. The condition is called phantom pain, and on a subsequent visit to the neuro, she explained to me that all amputees have this problem where they complain about a pain in a limb that's been detached or lost years ago, days ago, months ago. And the worst news was to come when she said there is no medical cure. And that practically finished any hope I have or had of having a normal life again. The pain after 10 months had not subsided. It was undescribably sore. And in January of 2020, I went to an orthopedic surgeon at the Linksfield Clinic, and I asked him to chop my leg off. I just couldn't bear the thought of having this painful leg attached to me any longer. And he confirmed what the neuro had said, and said that even if he chops the leg off, I'll still be bothered and plagued with pain in my foot, although it was amputated. And again, he said there's no real medical cure. By this time, I was about 10 or 12 months into the post-shooting, and the list of drugs that I was on to try and give me some kind of comfort was vast. It was pethidine, fentanyl, morphine, DF118, Lyrica, Targinact, Tramadol, Cataflam, Arcoxia, Trepoline, and more. I was on about 20 pills a day, and I was spending close to 9,000 Rand a month at the pharmacy, racking up bills left, right, and center. I had been to a doctor at Sunninghill Hospital to get spinal blocks to try and mitigate this pain that was in my spinal area, and absolutely nothing worked. There was just absolutely no relief whatsoever. And when I left the doctor with my mom after one of the spinal blocks, so I think it was after Dr. Preddy told me that there was no hope of chopping my leg off and that would bring about relief, I convinced my mom that we should go to Zurich to a clinic called Dignitas to do an assisted suicide. I just couldn't go on any longer. And the fact that I needed another 2 operations as well to fuse my spinal column. I needed a foraminotomy, a partial discectomy, and a laminectomy, which are procedures to excavate the spine, and it's very, very complicated stuff. I needed about R500,000 for the spinal ops, and there was absolutely no hope for me. And I convinced my mother that an assisted suicide would be, for me, the best thing. And she agreed to it. It absolutely shattered her and broke her heart, as well as my dad and my brothers. And we had booked to go to Zurich. And then suddenly COVID broke out in the world in 2020, and my plans to get to Zurich just came undone as well. So, unbeknown to them, I started Googling the best way to kill oneself. And I came across a group of serious pain sufferers on Facebook called Suicide Headaches. And eagerly I joined this group, and I spoke to the moderator on Messenger, explaining to him my situation and that I needed a formula to die, a fail-safe formula to die, as I didn't own a firearm, and I asked whether hanging would be a good way to do it, or getting into my vehicle and gassing myself, or to save all my drugs and eat them altogether. And this guy, Bob Wold, from this cluster headache group, very, very informed, knowledgeable, compassionate man, said to me he would give me a formula, but first I should tell him my condition. And when I explained to him the condition that I had, he had some good news for me. And as crazy and as unethical as this is going to sound, I just have to state to all those that are listening is, when you have as much pain and discomfort as I had, all morality flies out the door. And he suggested that I start using psychedelics. And he had cured many thousands of people on this suicide headache group of his through the use of psychedelics. And psychedelics are banned in South Africa. They're incredibly dangerous things, because the 2 most commonly used psychedelics that he resorts to are magic mushrooms and LSD. And I was so desperate that I told him that I could definitely find a source of magic mushrooms. And that was only the beginning of my trouble, because he said to me, before he gives me the formula and the person who I could go to in South Africa, I had to get off every single drug that I was on, because the psychedelics could have an antagonistic effect with the medication, which could possibly bring about heart failure. So I decided then and there that I would stop all the medication. But unbeknown to me, after 9 months of being on fentanyl, I was a full-blown morphine fentanyl addict. And I had to do cold turkey, which took about a month. And that in itself was a horrible experience, which I hope I never have to go through something like that again. So it took me about a month to get off the fentanyl, and a month later I contacted Bob Wald again, and I said, I'm ready for this information. And he gave me the name of a person who operates in Clarence, and I got into touch with him, and off I went to Clarence one weekend, and I took a dose of magic mushrooms, and the relief was immediate. Within an hour, my pain began to subside, and it was there that I took my first steps on my feet in 15 months. It was total joy. However, with the pain in the left leg gone, when I was taking those first few steps in my recovery, I felt the pain of my herniated discs in my right leg. And I came home from Clarence with half joy, because I'd managed to contain the pain in my left leg. But suddenly the impact and the level of pain in my sciatic was close to what the pain was in my left leg. And I realized then that I would be in for surgery, which fortunately for my older brother, who was the CEO of a private investment bank, I managed to scrape the money together, and I went and had an operation in the Charlotte Mackeke General Hospital in Johannesburg. I spent a total of 5 weeks in the General Hospital. They did 2 spinal operations on me, and the doctor said to me that there's going to be residual pain, that the damage was quite severe, and it's the best they could do for me. And that was major, because it gave me some sense of normality back in my life. I had mobility, and I was able to walk, and I no longer needed the wheelchair, but I still needed my wheelie walker, and I needed to get walking sticks. And over the period of 4 years, I bought 4 walking sticks. I have 4 beautiful walking sticks. One's made from Imboya, one's made from yellow wood, and they're wonderful pieces of woodwork, but I was desperate to walk hands-free. I couldn't stand walking with a walking stick. And aside from walking with a walking stick, I could never stand upright because I had incredible pain in my sacrum, and I couldn't walk at any speed. It was incredibly slow and hunched over. I could not sit on a chair for more than 20 minutes before I would have to start moving from my left butt cheek to my right butt cheek to my left butt cheek to the right butt cheek, and trying to maneuver my back around to alleviate the spasm that I had in my right bum. The proverbial pain in the arse is what I was living. In the mornings, when I woke up in the morning, I would have to do half an hour of remedial yoga on my back before I could get into the shower or get on with my day. And I had no sleep for 5 years, but for 4 years post-op. I would collapse in bed at 7 or 8 o'clock at night in sheer exhaustion from going about my daily chores. I would wake up at about 11 o'clock and start to toss and turn in the bed. And every time I rolled from the left side to the right side, I would absolutely scream with pain. And I had no comfort whatsoever. We have a licensed cannabis facility in Zimbabwe, which involves an incredible amount of driving. It takes 2 days from my house in Emerentia to get to my farm in Zimbabwe. By the time I arrived in Zimbabwe, I would be practically knackered for a few days. I wouldn't be able to do any work at all. And by the time I got back to South Africa a month later, which is where we did our shopping because there's nothing in Zimbabwe to buy, it would take another 3 days to be able to get my shopping done. And life was just utter hell. There was no respite from this dull, niggling pain in my bum. And there was no rest at night because I used to toss and turn. And it started to wear me down. In the beginning, it was the novelty of having my hands free was incredible. But 4 years afterwards, the novelty had worn off and I was depressed and sad and gutted again. I would like to just add right now that the pain that I experienced when I got shot was on another level. The pain in my heart at what I had lost, a house, a job, a career, was also substantial. But the greatest pain that I had in my heart was my loss of rock climbing. I used to dream about it at night and wake up in the morning and cry when I realized it was a dream. My girlfriend Nanette then tried to cheer me up and started trawling through my Facebook albums and wanted me to make a book of my memoirs on steep ground in Table Mountain. And it was actually too painful for me to do. I couldn't look at the pictures without crying. And kind enough she has downloaded all the pictures. She was doing anything and everything to cheer me up. But to be honest, nothing could cheer me up. The loss of my rock climbing was the greatest loss in my life. I had also been working on a project documenting wild orchids on Table Mountain. It had taken me about 15 years. I had thousands and thousands of images. I had beautiful cameras. I had lost them all. And I was about to go to print at Strake. And that was also a great loss. But nothing could match the loss of rock climbing. And the dreams I had about it would just torment me. About 3 months ago, I was having a bad run with my back again. And I woke up at about 3 a.m. and I got onto my phone and I started to Google how to make a hangman's knot or a hangman's noose, as I had a rather large sturdy tree in my garden and I was planning to hang myself off it. I could not go on another day. And she obviously had a stern chat with me. It broke her as well when she saw what I was Googling. And she urged me to start pursuing every other possible alternative remedy to try and do something about this back condition that I had. And I was speaking to a friend of mine, Claire Tucker, who had signed on with LifeWave about 8 months ago. And she said to me that I absolutely have to try this patch that she's on. And it's been absolutely wonderful for her. She has got no niggles. Her skin wrinkles are clearing up and she's brighter and she's got a lot of energy. And I thought, stem cells, sure, I will look into it. And I started Googling these stem cells and the therapies and how it works, etc. And I didn't react on it immediately. About a month later, I was at a business meeting at a shopping center, and the guy I was talking to said to me, "You look absolutely worn, you've lost weight. What's going on?" And I said, "I'm coming to the end of my tether. My pain is off the charts, and I actually don't know what to do anymore." And he put me in touch with the lady, Inga. No, not Inga, Ingi. And I had a chat with her on the phone, and she mentioned these patches. And I asked her, "What's the name of this patch?" And she said, X39, and a light went on. Ding! It's the second time I'd heard about these patches in about 4 months. And I came home and I contacted Claire again and I said, are you on X39? And she said, yes, she is on X39. And I said, you need to put me in touch with the person where I can get hold of these things. And that's where Chris comes in. I contacted Chris and I told him my story, and he invited me to a patch party, which took place last week, Saturday. And we got up early in the morning and we were on our way to the patch party, and I thought it was starting at 9:30 in the morning, and I contacted Jan and I said, what time does this start? And she said 10:30. So we stopped at Woolworths to get a croissant and a cup of coffee. And I remember it taking me from the exit of Woolworths to where my car was parked about 20 meters away. I had to stop 3 times and rest on my walking stick. The pain was so severe. Needless to say, we arrived on time at the patch party, and I walked in there and I looked at the chairs and I thought, oh my goodness, how am I going to sit on this chair for an hour? I can't sit still for an hour. This presentation, it's going to take an hour. And Jan or Sandy, can't remember who, put a patch on my back. And I went and sat in the front row in the corner with my girlfriend next to me. And the presentation began, and it went on. And at about the half an hour mark, I realized to myself that I wasn't fidgeting in my chair. At about the 45-minute mark, I started to move my back around to see if I could feel any niggle or pain. And Nanette said to me, do I need a cushion to bolster my back? Am I in pain? And I said, I don't think I have pain. And I'm going to be very curious to see how I'm going to get out of this chair after this lecture. That's going to be an indication, because getting in and out of the car was an absolute nightmare. So much so that when we would arrive home in the afternoons, if I got out the car to open the gate, I didn't have the energy to get back in the car, to sit in the seat, to drive 50 meters down the driveway, to get back out the car again. Getting in and out of the car, getting on and off a chair, on and off the toilet, in and out of bed, putting socks on, tying my shoelaces was just too much. It was just too painful to perform these simple functions. At the end of the lecture, Nanette stood up and stood in front of me, wanting to pull me out of the chair. And I said, no, I would like to do this without help. And I stood out of the chair without any help. In fact, I can say with genuine honesty that within 45 minutes, this patch had taken my pain from 100% to about 20%. And I decided I was going to take a walk around Jan's garden without my walking stick to see how that would turn out. And I ended up walking around and around Jan's garden. I found some lovely orchids in the far corner and some tillandsias growing on the tree, and I could just appreciate walking without my walking stick, which I almost forgot at the house. I was in almost complete ease. So, of course, then and there, I called Chris over and I said to him, sign me up and take my money. This is nothing short of remarkable. And Chris signed us up, and I said to him, the only problem I have right now is that I don't have patches to see me from this one that I'm wearing to the ones that arrive in the post a few days later. So, of course, Chris, being the giant that he is, he went into his briefcase and he pulled out an envelope of X39, and he gifted me with about 6 or 7 patches, which absolutely made my day. And over and above that, he gave me some ice waves, another set of patches, and he said, take these as well and use them, because when your patches arrive, you will not have any days off them between now and then. And grateful I was. And my girlfriend's sister, Nanette's sister, is a serious migraine headache sufferer. She has the worst migraines. They make her puke. She can't fulfill her job properly. The debilitating migraine headaches on a level that's also indescribable. And Nanette said to me, let's take these pain pills to her sister, who lives in Pretoria. Now, ordinarily, I would have said, there is no ways I'm getting in a car, driving an hour to Pretoria, to get out the car, to go into your sister's house, to sit down on a chair, to get out of the chair, back into the car and sit down, drive an hour back to Johannesburg and get out the car again. It's not going to happen. That's my usual answer to, should we go to Pretoria? And with absolute enthusiasm, I said, yes, let's do that. Now, usually I won't sit in the car. I will put the backrest down and I will slouch in the car. And I managed to sit upright in the car all the way to Pretoria and get in and out the car and in and out the house and back in and out the car and back to Johannesburg. And it was the most relief I'd had in 1,860 days plus 24 days of May. And on the way home, I said to Nanette, I'd like to assess myself in the morning, and if it's like this, I'd like to go rock climbing. And I've never seen the elation on my girlfriend's face other than the day I asked her to go steady with me. So Sunday morning came. I'd had a sleep right through the night. I went to bed at 8 or 9 o'clock, and I had slept right through the night, which was the first time that's happened to me in 5 years and 27 days. And we woke up in the morning and she looked at me and she said, what do you want to do today? And I said, I want to go rock climbing. Take me to the climbing gym. I want to go rock climbing. And that's what we did. We drove to City Rock in Randburg, and I spent an hour and a half climbing the walls of City Rock. And when I got lowered off from the first climb, I actually burst out crying. I knew that I had found a solution to my problem by using a patch for 24 hours or for 12 hours of the 24 hours. The pain in my back was 95% gone. And I thought that after the rock climbing, it would be spasmed up again because it's quite a strenuous exercise. And Monday morning came, and I'd had another very good night's sleep, and no pain, no walking stick. So I packed up my wheelie wheel Zimmer frame and I took it outside. I took my walking sticks and I buried them in the spare room. And it's really been the start of my new life. By Thursday that week, I had convinced Nanette that we should go rock climbing again. And we went back to the gym and spent 2 hours in this gym. And I pushed the climbing grades up again, just progress. And the penny dropped for me then and there. At first, I thought that I was going to only use the patches on a remedial level. But with the level of recovery that I'd had in such a short space of time, I knew that I could be able to be a good ambassador for these patches. And by some foresight of Chris, he had invited us to this convention on Saturday. And he had hinted to me that he might call me up onto the stage to share my story, which I said yes, not realizing how many people would be there. And then I arrived on Saturday and I walked into the hall and I saw 400 chairs. And I thought, oh boy, I don't know if I've got the courage to stand up and talk in front of 400 people. And fortunately, the day drew on just too long for me to share my story because it was so daunting. I was chewing my nails, and it was an incredibly nerve-wracking thing. And we left when it was over. I sent Chris a message saying we had to get our boy. He's with a babysitter, so it hasn't panned out. But when I got home, I messaged Chris and I said, I'd like to make a small, short presentation of my story from this purely blissful, idyllic existence, enviable by probably everybody and anybody, to my story of utter despair and pain and discomfort, plagued with suicidal thoughts, to my triumph on LifeWave X39 patches. And that's basically my story. I have to say, every month, take my money. I'm convinced that this is revolutionary medicine like nothing I've ever had before. And I sing its praises to anybody that I see that's damaged. To my post on Facebook, I put a post of me rock climbing, which got 900 views from my friends and hundreds and hundreds of comments asking about X39. And I look forward to a career selling and being an ambassador for this one.
Hi there, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this presentation today. My name is Sandy Ashfield, and I'm presenting from Johannesburg in South Africa. Many of you are joining us from all around the world. We have guests from America, from Australia, from Indonesia, Belgium, the UK. Welcome to all of you. I could not be more excited to be sharing this scientific breakthrough with you. And welcome to this presentation on stem cell reactivation technology in the form of a wearable skin patch. I'd love to share a little bit with you about how I became aware of this incredible technology, and it was actually through a running injury. I have been a runner for most of my life. I'm in my 50s now, and I've been running for about 40 years. I've been fortunate enough never to pick up an injury during that time, but last year in April, I tore my Achilles tendon. It was an extremely painful injury, and it was probably the result of doing a little too much too soon, because I had run Comrades Marathon, London Marathon, and then the Two Oceans Half Marathon. And at 18 kilometers on that marathon, my Achilles just went and said to here and no further. It was extremely painful, and I had a lot of physiotherapy, biokinetics treatment, and even a small surgery to the Achilles to try and alleviate the pain. We opened up the fascia, took the vascularity away from the Achilles, and everything helped a lot, but nothing had me running pain-free again. And in December of last year, I was still walking on the toe, unable to put the heel down flat. And a lady named Robin saw me walking like that, and she actually said, have you tried a stem cell patch on your Achilles? And I was very intrigued. I applied this little patch directly to my Achilles tendon. I slept the night and woke up the next morning absolutely amazed to be able to press on the Achilles with no pain. I continued wearing the patches for the course of that week, and within 3 or 4 days, I was actually able to walk with my heel completely flat and no pain in the Achilles. I continued patching, and within 7 days, 1 week later, I was back running my normal running route. I was even rebounding, which is bouncing on a mini trampoline, and there was absolutely no pain to my Achilles. Subsequently, I have never used a patch on my Achilles since that week of wearing the X39, but I will never go a day without wearing this incredible technology on my body, and I apply an X39 patch every single day to the position just at the back of my neck, and I'm going to share some more information with you as we go. So I'm going to jump into this presentation. If you give me a moment just to share my slides, and then I would love to tell you a little bit more about that. I'm hoping that's coming through nice and clearly for everyone. There we go. All right. So stem cell reactivation technology in the form of a wearable skin patch sounds like a little bit of a mouthful, but this really is a pure phototherapy in that our bodies are radiating infrared light at all times. That heat and light from our bodies radiates against organic nanocrystals, which are in the patch that we are then wearing. And the light is reflected back into our tissue, resulting in a copper peptide being produced. The GHK-Cu copper peptide is activated and in turn is clinically proven to reactivate our body's own dormant stem cells. So I'm going to play you a short video that explains the science of that.
Light, an ancient form of energy that goes back to the dawn of time. For us, it all begins with the sun, the source of light and life for our entire solar system. Even Einstein concluded that everything we're made of contains light. All life originates with the sun through photosynthesis. Plants and vegetation collect the light, and all living creatures emit light. Humans actually emit infrared light, which can be seen with night vision devices. We've known for centuries that light has many effects on the body. LifeWave's phototherapy patches use light to stimulate the body's natural healing systems, providing specific health benefits. Here's how the technology works. First, a patch is applied to specific points on the body. Where the patch covers the skin, infrared light emitted from the body is reflected back into the tissue. This stimulates the skin, which in turn stimulates specific regions of the brain. The brain then taps into the body's own natural flow of energy and the ability to heal itself.
So this incredible process of phototherapy is activated by our body's own infrared light. And it's very important to note that nothing is entering our body from the patch itself. These patches are totally different to a hormone patch or a nicotine patch where something may be transmitted into the tissue. The organic nanocrystals in the patch are serving to reflect our body's own light back into the tissue to activate our copper peptide and in turn reactivate our body's own stem cells. So the little organic nanocrystals in the patch are nothing more than a crystal lattice made up of amino acids, sugars, salts, reflecting the body's own light back into the tissue. But let's take a look at the company responsible for this incredible scientific breakthrough. LifeWave was established in 2004, a 20-year-old company, and it's open in 87 countries around the world, fairly recently to South Africa. And it was in 2019 that the X39 was actually launched onto the market. The reason for it launching only in 2019 is because of the extensive number of years that it took for the patent to be granted on this amazing technology. You all know that after 2019, the world went into COVID, and it was only in 2021, as we were emerging out of COVID, that LifeWave was doing a turnover of $20 million. Within 1 year, as people were becoming aware of stem cell reactivation technology, the company's turnover skyrocketed to $321 million. Last year, that trajectory continued to $430 million in 2023. And this year, LifeWave is projected to be doing $1 billion by 2025. Now, this is an indication of the uptake for stem cell reactivation technology around the world. And David Schmidt is our founder and CEO of LifeWave, but he is also the inventor and the scientist of the X39. David has an absolute speciality in age reversal, and it was in 2008 that he turned his attention to stem cell research, understanding that stem cells are the key to age reversal. And it was a 10-year process for the X39 submitted for patenting, for that patent to be granted at a cost of $4.5 million to bring to market. And to date, LifeWave holds not 1 or 2 or 5 patents on this technology. LifeWave holds over 180 patents. Now, you'll know that a patent cannot be granted unless your product actually does what you say it does. So let's take a look at this excerpt from the patent itself, which clearly states that as a result of elevating the copper peptide, including activation of the body's own stem cells, we are seeing improvements in energy, elevation of antioxidants, reduction in inflammation, management of pain, improvements in stamina, elevation of collagen production, and improved wound healing. Now, I experienced all of these benefits after applying X39 to the body. And because the company holds this patent, it places their product into a no competition zone. Now, if we take a look at the New England Journal of Medicine, it states that the #1 indicator of wellness is directly correlated to the number of adult stem cells in our bloodstream. Now, stem cells are those incredibly unique cells with the potential to develop into any kind of cell needed. They've got an incredible ability to differentiate themselves and to heal and repair any organ or tissue in the body. In fact, in utero, we are a flood of stem cells, all rapidly dividing to become heart cells, lung cells, brain cells. And if we have this ability to reactivate those incredible stem cells to heal and repair the organs and tissues of our body, this is the scientific breakthrough of the decade. What is very sobering, though, is that as we age, our body's own stem cells are becoming increasingly dormant. So the fewer stem cells we have, the faster we age and the slower we heal. As a teenager, we have over 1 billion active stem cells in the bloodstream. But by the age of 30, that number has dropped to 4 billion, a 60% reduction. And by the age of 60, that number has dropped to 100 million. A 90% reduction. And it makes sense as we see that as we age, we experience hair loss, skin losing its firmness, slow wound healing, joint pain, slow recovery from exercise, etc. It's all attributable to the steadily diminishing active stem cells in the bloodstream. But here we have an opportunity to reactivate those stem cells. And this is how X39 works. It's being called the holy grail of anti-aging because we are able to activate our copper peptide, the GHK-Cu copper peptide, which has been clinically proven to reactivate our body's own stem cells. And all simply through these amazing organic nanocrystals embedded in the patch, which enable our body's own infrared light to be reflected back into the tissue and produce this incredible result of activating the copper peptide. So the patch is non-invasive, it's non-transdermal, and it simply adheres to the body with a 3M medical grade adhesive. So I'm wearing the X39 patch directly behind the neck. I'm going to show you the position of the patch. And you could wear the patch as effectively anywhere on the body. But also, because our infrared light radiates through our clothing, if the patch is even proximate to the body, it will have as enhanced an effect. So we have a young autistic boy, Alex, in our LifeWave family, and Alex had actually gone for stem cell injections. His parents, Javi and Olga, took him to Mexico. They had stem cell injections at a cost of over $20,000 US. The stem cell injections were ineffective for Alex, as he lacked muscular coordination of his arms and his legs. And when they as a family were presented with this technology, they thought, we have nothing to lose. Let's put these patches onto Alex and see how he responds. The reason I'm telling the story is because the patches were slightly irritating to Alex on his skin, and they simply applied the patches to the outside of his clothing. And the patches were as effective for Alex as if he was wearing them directly on his skin. Within just a few weeks, Alex was able to swing himself on a garden swing, swinging out his arms and legs in a way that he had never been able to do before. And just a few short weeks thereafter, he was able to cycle on a stationary Peloton bicycle. And it's incredible to see his mom, Olga, jumping around the room in excitement to see the way in which this technology had had such an incredible effect on Alex's mobility and his well-being. And they just continue to see the most remarkable results with Alex. I'm telling the story because although the patch applies to the body with a 3M medical grade adhesive, it can be applied onto the outside of your clothing as effectively. Now, let's have a look at what happens when we actually activate our body's stem cells. First of all, we are experiencing rapid pain relief. That was my experience overnight with the X39 on my Achilles tendon. We also see reduced inflammation, not only in the joints and in the muscles, but also in the brain. And I'm going to show you some slides of a brain scan in just a moment. We also see much improved wound healing, energy and vitality that is next level, and mental clarity. We also see a tremendous enhancement in sports performance and recovery after exercise. In fact, as an athlete myself, I couldn't wait to share this technology with other marathon runners. And on one of the recent marathons in Johannesburg, we patched several runners, 3 of whom ran their personal best times over the marathon distance. But not only that, they all reported a much faster recovery from exercise. In fact, after the Comrades this year, we had several of the runners, and that's a 90-kilometer road race. We had some of the runners sending videos of them running up and down the stairs the next morning after running a 90-kilometer endurance race. So incredible enhancement to sports performance as well as recovery from exercise. We also see amazing improvement to skin appearance, and this is directly attributable to the increased collagen production in the body. You'll remember some years ago when we were all drinking collagen orally when it was launched onto the market, in our tea, in our coffee. Now that's often bovine sourced or marine sourced collagen, and it has wonderful results for hair, skin, nails, joint pain, etc. But through this technology, we have the opportunity to activate our body's own collagen production, even more effective for improvements to the skin, improved wound healing, etc., etc. And so how do we wear the X39? We wear our patch for 12 hours on and 12 hours off, giving the body time to repair and rejuvenate itself. If we were to wear the patch continuously for 24 hours, the body would simply become used to that stimulus and it wouldn't respond as effectively as we want it to. So to prevent what we call attenuation, we simply remove the patch after 12 hours. Throw away the patch, put a new patch on the next day, and wear it again for 12 hours. Very important to drink lots of water when wearing your patches to assist in communicating the frequencies throughout the tissues. Now, you can see 2 popular positions to wear the X39, either directly behind your neck or just 2 fingers below the belly button. But you could wear the patch anywhere on the body where you have pain or discomfort. These 2 positions are simply very powerful meridian points which assist in overall systemic benefit with the X39 of wearing this technology. Within your first few days, 4,000 genes begin to reset themselves. And within 6 weeks, the brain becomes balanced. Now, we see decreased symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, and depression as the brain begins to become balanced. And within 3 months, we see a significant increase in collagen levels. Now, that results in a decrease in wrinkles in the skin, hair growth increasing, and you'll see all my short, new little hairs that have been growing through since wearing X39, as well as the structural integrity of our skeletal and muscular systems being improved, which is also one of the notable benefits of drinking collagen orally. Within 6 months, our heart actually reverses in age. Now, this is remarkable because David Schmidt is in his 60s and his heart has been clinically proven to be that of a 35-year-old. So in a recent study, 14 out of 15 people actually lowered their vascular age by an average 8 years in just 6 months of using X39. So David Schmidt says this is not anti-aging. This is age reversal technology that we have in our hands. And David recommends a minimum of a 90-day protocol. In fact, it's recommended that we wear the patches for not only the 90 days, but for an additional month for every decade of our age. So if you're in your 40s, 4 months. If you're in your 50s, 5 months before reaching optimal stem cell activity in the body. So that recommendation said we have seen results very often in weeks or days or hours or even minutes and seconds. So everyone's body is unique and different. In fact, when I had this remarkable result with my Achilles tendon, I couldn't wait to introduce the technology to my dad, who suffers from terrible knee pain and has been waiting to have knee replacement surgery. I actually patched my dad with a patch called Ice Wave, which is a patch specifically targeting pain relief in the body. It's a duo patch, so you wear 2 patches at once, either across the knee joint or across the back or across the shoulders where there is pain in the body. When I applied the patches to my dad's knees, he actually stood up from the chair. He took a few paces and he said, "But the pain is gone." And I couldn't believe it. I said, "You must be teasing, Dad." And he said, "No, the pain is gone." And that was immediate pain relief using Ice Wave. What I also did, though, was patch him with X39 and sent him home with a sleeve of X39 to continue patching. And within a couple of weeks of wearing X39, my dad's psoriasis cleared up completely. Now, psoriasis is the itching, redness, and irritation on the skin, very difficult to treat and often treated with cortisone and other creams. But all of the psoriasis in the creases of his elbows, behind his knees, etc., cleared up completely with the X39, an indication of how the stem cells are going to go to work, healing and repairing in the body where they are needed. So everyone's body is different and unique, and we recommend an absolute minimum of a 90-day protocol. Always drinking lots of water, and common positions to put your X39 patch directly behind the neck on the bone at the top of the spine, or just 2 fingers below your belly button. Now, this map shows, it's a topographical map actually, showing a 77-year-old woman's brain scan where we've placed the X39 at the back of her neck. You can see in session 1 that no X39 was used here. We see inflammation in the brain, all of this redness, very little stem cell activity, and a lack of brain coherence. Within just 3 weeks of wearing the X39, we see no more inflammation, much improved brain coherence, and within 6 weeks on the X39, all of that inflammation and redness has dissipated completely. Much improved stem cell activity, much better brain coherence. And so as we are aging, the stem cells in our organs including our brain, our heart, our liver, our lungs, our kidneys, and even our skin, are going dormant. And through this technology, we have the ability to reactivate those dormant stem cells for the improvement of the functioning of all of these organs in our body. Now, this slide shows inflammation reduction in just 30 minutes. This gentleman has tremendous pain and inflammation in the trapezius muscles behind his shoulders and the rectus abdominis running down the tummy. These slides are before X39, but within just 30 minutes of applying the patches to his body, look at the way in which that inflammation has dissipated completely in the shoulders and in the rectus abdominis muscle. This slide on the right shows a lady suffering from arthritis in the joint between the thumb and the fingers. Now, here, we didn't even patch her. She simply held an X39 patch in each hand for 30 minutes. And look at the way in which that pain and inflammation had subsided within just 30 minutes. A remarkable result. In fact, one would wonder is it possible that this could be the placebo effect, that we're just feeling better because we're either holding a patch or we have a patch on the body. But when you see the results on animals, you will be absolutely amazed. Here we have a horse with inflammation in the shoulder joint, and that degree of inflammation had even advanced to the stages of purple and white, the most extreme stages of pain and inflammation. And over a course of treatment with X39, this horse's appearance was even so significantly improved. You can see before and after photographs, as well as the remarkable reduction in inflammation in the shoulder. So much so that I actually started taking my discarded patches of X39 after wearing them each day. I actually started taping them onto the collar of our Labrador. Now, Bentley is a 14-year-old lab, so he's really in his 90s, I would say, and full of joint pain, stiffness, and arthritis. Within just 4 days of patching Bentley with my used X39s on his collar, just placing the patches with sticky tape, he was running around like a puppy again. Absolutely no joint pain, no stiffness that was evident at all. And it was then that I really knew that these patches are something incredible. We have another example of a little dog here. This little dachshund belongs to a lady named Kurti, and she manifested with paralysis in the hindquarters, which can happen quite commonly with dachshunds, I'm told. But she did not respond to normal veterinary treatment, and it was decided to try and patch her with X39 and see if that might help. So the X39 patch was bandaged around her middle, and she wore the patches for just 4 days. It was remarkable to see what happened after that patching protocol. Here she is, the little brown dachshund. Her name is Poplap, and you can see that she is fully mobile again. She's not perfect, still jumping with her back legs together, but there is Kurti. She has 5 dachshunds, and little Poplap had her mobility restored in her hindquarters so beautifully with the X39. Here we see some amazing examples of the improvement in skin, again, directly attributable to the increased collagen production in the body as a result of X39. So you can see this lady over the course of 1 year of treatment, fine lines under the eyes, crow's feet, lines on her neck, beautifully improved within 1 year. Crow's feet around the eyes, significantly softened. This slide shows a year of treatment with X39. Please note the skin on her neck, the reduction in pigmentation, how beautifully her eyes have opened, and the softening of lines around her mouth. We have an example here over 5 months, a strong downturn to the mouth, softened within 30 days and unrecognizable in 5 months. This result I find remarkable. In 9 weeks, it almost looks as if this lady has had a facelift, reduction in pigmentation, firming of lines around her mouth and underneath her eyes. An incredible result. We also see amazing results for vitiligo, which is the loss of pigment in the skin. This gentleman had lost pigmentation on the forehead and under the eyes very significantly after just 3 months on X39. Incredible results for vitiligo, pigment restored beautifully onto the forehead, and here a complete turnaround with this gentleman. We have a lovely lady named Bragini in our LifeWave family. She's also suffered with vitiligo, and she very bravely came to our Bryanston presentation a few weeks ago, and she showed us the way her vitiligo has cleared up completely across her chest and on her neck. Absolutely amazing results. We also see tremendous improvement to wound healing here. Deep cut and stitches improved within 12 days so beautifully on X39. And here's a slide showing psoriasis, which I mentioned with my dad. You can see the way in which that redness, swelling, itching has dissipated completely within 10 days on the patches. And this lady suffering from Bell's palsy, a strong spasm to the left of her mouth, unable to open her eyes, and unrecognizable 3 months on the patches. Just look at that beautiful smile. We also see amazing results for blood circulation and elimination of water retention. In fact, here you can see a live blood analysis. The cells all clumped together within just 10 minutes of wearing X39. Look at the way in which the blood is so beautifully oxygenated. The cells are separated, and you can see a much healthier blood analysis within just 10 minutes of wearing X39. This gentleman suffering from poor blood circulation, patching with X39 on the foot, and no trace of that poor vascularity within just 5 days, much improved. And here we have edema or water retention, elevating her feet. Within 3 weeks, all of that water retention had been eliminated. We also see remarkable results for wound healing. This lady, top left, weeping wounds and open wounds healed within 21 days. And this gentleman actually treating with 3 X39 patches for this severe wound to the left of his eye. But please take a look at the condition of his skin, his neck. In 7 weeks, that skin condition so beautifully improved and firmed. So amazing results with X39 on the face. This young boy lost his finger tip in the door, literally chopped off the tip completely. Surgeons reattached it here and didn't hold out much hope, but within 21 days of patching with the X39, just look at that vascularity restored to the fingertip. We also see a young guy here, snowboarding accident, cuts and bruises to the face. Within 5 days, he's just left with a small scab under his nose. So another wonderful benefit of the X39 patches and the increased collagen production is a significant improvement to hair growth. This gentleman going from bald on top to a full head of hair within 3 months, and amazing improvements here within 7 weeks and within 6 weeks. And one of my favorite slides is athletes on the patches. You'll see here David Beckham is wearing a patch called Energy Enhancer. This is in fact LifeWave's very first patch to come to market. And it's also a duo patch where 2 patches are worn together, either across the chest or across the belly, for enhancement of sports performance through fat burning and improved muscle. And you can see David is wearing the Energy Enhancer patches across his chest even before he had his tattoos. So this is going right back to the early days. Serena Williams is wearing Energy Enhancer on her wrist, and that is when she won Wimbledon. You can see the Wimbledon logo in the background, and Energy Enhancer significantly improving her performance for that incredibly important win. Lorenzo Savadori is a superbike champion. He travels at speeds of 300 kilometers an hour, and he's wearing X39 on his forehead to improve his response time traveling at those incredible speeds. But the slide I'd like to talk more about is this one of Michael Phelps and the US swim team winning gold at the Athens Olympic Games. Now, this was in 2004, and you can see that the athletes are actually wearing Energy Enhancer across their bellies. But when their performance shot the lights out at the Olympics, the Olympic Committee pulled the patches, and they said, we will need to send those off for testing. And the patches were dispatched to the UCLA microanalytical lab for testing to see whether any drugs were entering the body from the patches. It was confirmed after their studies that absolutely no drugs are entering the body, and that this is pure frequencies, and their gold medals stand, and these patches are perfectly safe to use in competitive sport. It was in that moment that David Schmidt's phone was ringing off the hook. He was inundated by people wanting to be distributors for this technology all around the world. And I'm so grateful that David made the decision then not to put these products into mainstream retail. Not only would it escalate the price so significantly between wholesale and retail, making this technology ill-affordable for most people, but we would most likely walk past these patches if they were sitting on the shelf in Dis-Chem or Clicks or Walgreens around the world. So really, in wanting this technology to be effectively explained and available to everyone cost effectively around the world, the decision was made for direct distribution rather than mainstream retail as the method of distribution for this amazing technology. So LifeWave X39 has become the foundation patch because it is this amazing patch that is actually able to reactivate our body's own stem cells. But these patches are supported by a beautiful bouquet of supplementary patches targeting specific concerns. So those patches, I'm just going to run through very quickly. The X49, one of the most recent additions, is an incredible enhancement to your muscle mass. It increases muscle mass so significantly and improves bone density. So as we are aging, we often see the onset of osteoporosis and muscle loss, resulting in a slower metabolism and weight gain later on. And with those brittle bones and the loss in muscle, we also see decreasing cardiovascular health. Now, X49 targets all of those amazing benefits in one supplementary patch, which is so powerful together with X39. In fact, you would think that it's targeted to the older generation working on muscle mass and bone density, but some of our young athletes, even in their teens, have seen incredible results incorporating X49 into their patching protocol. So we are seeing wonderful results with X49 added into the mix for our athletes, particularly because of muscle mass increase. We also have IceWave. Now, this is the patch targeting pain reduction. Absolutely no side effects, safe to use in competitive sport, but very effective for relieving pain of a migraine, back pain, knee pain, shoulder pain. These patches can be applied anywhere on the body where you are experiencing pain. We also have glutathione, which is one of the most powerful antioxidants in the body. As an immune booster, glutathione is absolutely essential, and it's been clinically proven that glutathione levels are 300% higher within just 24 hours of wearing these patches. So glutathione is a powerful repair for our DNA, and we also see remarkable results for arthritis and joint pain using glutathione patches. Carnosine, an amazing enhancement to brain function and neurological health, as well as vision and eyesight. Carnosine is clinically proven to lengthen our telomeres and improve memory and focus. So using carnosine for treatment of Alzheimer's, dementia, together with X39, we have seen remarkable results. We also have Eon, one of the most popular patches. It's also known as the happy patch. Now, Eon reduces cortisol levels in the body, so reducing stress and inflammation, not only in joints and muscles, but also in the brain. So Eon, also known as the happy patch. And then Silent Nights, a wonderful enhancement to your sleep. For those insomniacs, Silent nights is an absolute must to improve the quality of your sleep by up to 66%. Silent nights regulates the sleep, increases your body's melatonin production, and improves the quality of your sleep. We also have Energy Enhancer, which you've seen David Beckham wearing and Serena Williams. This is a fat-burning patch, increasing energy during sport and improving endurance in competitive sports so significantly. Then we have SP6 Complete. This is a weight loss and appetite suppressing patch. Now, it aids in balancing the hormones, particularly, for example, in postmenopausal women, where we are experiencing hot flushes and hormone imbalances, often resulting in weight gain and increased appetite. So SP6 Complete really helps to regulate the hormones in the body, but it is a patch suitable for men and women in aiding digestion, bringing about hormone balance, controlling weight and appetite. And then the newest patch to come to market is the Alavida. Now, Alavida was launched in South Africa only on the 15th of May, and we're already seeing the most incredible results with this patch for skin rejuvenation. It reduces wrinkles, builds collagen in the skin, and even though the results I was showing you a moment ago are achieved with X39 only, Alavida is now an additional enhancement to the skin rejuvenation that
Great to all my followers out there. Guys, please go through this page, YouTube, subscribe to it so we can get deeper into the network and help thousands more people out there that need this miracle patch. Oh, sorry, that's my point of view. And share that with your family member, friends and loved ones that are having issues in their life at this stage. Rumble, please subscribe, and you can buy me a cup of coffee there on YouTube as well, or on BitChute. We've got hundreds of viewers there, but very few subscribers. Guys, please subscribe. Remember, your subscribers get us deeper into the network, and we can get to millions more or billions more people out there that would make very good use of this technology. If you haven't got data, you can catch me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. Further up, you can scan a QR code for WhatsApp. If you've got an issue or disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, prostate problems, prostate cancer, anything like that, drop me a message and I'll send you testimonials from all over the world with people that are on this patch and what it's done for them. So, and please follow me on those channels. And then next to my WhatsApp QR code, you'll find a QR code taking you direct to my email address. On the other side of the page, you'll find another QR code for Telegram. If you want to use Telegram, hit me up on there, send me the message or what you would like to see, or to send people, if you've got family member, friends and loved ones or something and you want to send it to them, knock me up there and we'll take it from there. Guys, we are 20-year-old pioneers in life technology. It's a 20-year-old, actually it's a 21-year-old company this year. We in this life technology. Please hit me up and I'll hook you up with this life-changing product. it's it's an age reversal, so you'll get mega benefits out of this. As you can see, my hair, 67, I was grey all over, like my beard is still grey, it's getting there, and my hair's gone black, gone back to my younger days. So I'm getting younger. It's your carnosine goes up by 300% in your body. Your own carnosine, nothing that you have to take big pharma's Smarties for. It's your own. This thing activates your own collagen to go up. So you become like when you were a small child. You get your millions of stem cells back and working as strong as ever. So if you've got heart problems, it makes your heart up to 8 years younger than what you are. The muscles, the heart muscles, and the arteries. So guys, it's a no-brainer. Hit me up on one of these, comment me on the videos I put up. Remember, I put up the video every week. So thank you for being here, and hope you have a fantastic week and weekend, and live a happier, younger, healthier and pain-free life with us at Lifeways. Come and join us, or just look me up if you need the product to try it out, or if you need more information on the product. And if you would like testimonials to send to somebody with a disease they are having issues with, look me up and I'll get back to you. Thank you, and Johnny signing off from Johannesburg, South Africa, and I'll see you next week. Enjoy the week.